send in their alumni magazine update. But since you asked, let me tell you some of the great things that have happened to me over the years. And kudos to Stanford for figuring out how to migrate that from a paper-driven environment to a web-driven environment. Okay, decentralized management. Time check. This is my guy Barack Obama again. And I had friends who lived right down the street from me who were passionate Obama supporters, a lot of people, frankly, but they wanted to be volunteers. Here's the problem, that what do you do with Obama volunteers who live in Chicago when everybody always knew that Illinois was going to go for Obama? We didn't need anybody out talking to any voters in Illinois because the state was always going to be an Obama state. So if somebody wants to volunteer in Chicago, what do you do with them? Well, here's what you do. You create a login so they can go log into the My Obama website. They could then access the phone numbers of voters in North Carolina. And North Carolina was a big swing state. It was pivotal to his victory. So my friends would sit on their sofa in Chicago on their mobile phones, and their mobile phone time was their additional contribution to the Obama campaign. And they would call North Carolina voters and say, can I answer any questions for you about the candidate? Do you need a ride to the polls? Can I arrange for you to get picked up and taken to the polls? So, you know, beyond all the small contributions that he attracted, his ability to engage volunteers anywhere, you know, was really revolutionary also. I mean, you know, campaigns were always run with some little storefront office in the downtown of a city and required everybody to physically come down to the office, and they all sort of did the same task. Well, now, you know, he could engage anybody potentially all over the world working on his behalf. And so my friends could be deployed in North Carolina without leaving their living room in Chicago. That's interesting to me from an annual giving point of view as well, because, you know, people who live in other countries who graduate from an institution, or even just people geographically scattered about. You know, we often required people to physically be close to us to get involved as volunteers. It's not necessarily the case anymore. And it's not just asking people for money either. Here's Wabash College, deepest, darkest Indiana. And there's two guys who were sort of the social center of the universe of their class, and they're pretty adept in PowerPoint. So they went to the Wabash alumni office and they said, look, your class notes in the magazine, they're fine, but would you mind if we just sort of took over sending out class notes with our classmates? And so every couple of months, they put together this PowerPoint presentation to their classmates with photos and everything. You can see that Sean Baylor had a good number of Wabash men at his wedding reception. Here's Michael Bricker. He's building a treehouse in his backyard, and so he wants you to see the architectural renderings and the happy Bricker children enjoying the finished treehouse in the backyard. Now, there's a lot of hard-working alumni relations people. I respect that. But I don't know any alumni relations person that can get to this level of detail within any one class. And you know, previously, we didn't have any choice. Everything funneled through the alumni office. But if I now have graduates who say, you know, if you let me do this, I'll send you all the class notes. I'm not trying to compete with you. But you know, can't we just sort of make this a party within the class? And lo and behold, it winds up probably being a better representation of the class spirit that the institution's trying to promote in its brand. But now we've got two people doing this for us. It's a little bit of a loss of control, but if I can deal with it, it's probably, you know, a net gain for the institution in terms of two people jumping in and making a contribution in the way that they can. Carleton College in deepest, darkest Minnesota. Also annoying alumni. And every year, when the U.S. News and World Report alumni giving rankings come out, Carleton's always around the top with around 60% participation every year. And so the new issue just came out, and like I do every year, I call the annual giving director at Carleton College, Chris Clark, and I say, how did you do that again? How did you wind up at the top of the list again? And the answer he always gives me, I know what he's going to say this year when I call him. He says, it's important for our graduates to be the spokesperson for the annual fund. It's not that we're just effective at the institution soliciting everybody for gifts. It's that the classmates themselves say, let's us do this for the benefit of Carleton College. So all these web graphics that I'm going to show you are web pages for each class at Carleton College. And what the college what their legal advisor has suggested they do is that every class is encouraged to go create its own web page, and then Carleton reimburses the class volunteers for whatever their costs are to manage a web page. That sort of gives them the legal separation in case anybody posts a photo or something that's a bad reflection of the college. But look what people wind up doing. Here's the 25th reunion class saying that 81% is our goal for class participation. Here's the class of 98 saying we've got $9,300 to go to hit our goal. Here's a class using the thermometer on its web page. Here's a class using the water tower in Northfield, Minnesota, where Carleton College is located. All these graphics were created by volunteers. Not one of them was created by the Annual Giving Office. It's all class volunteers saying, let's do this for Carleton College, and all knowing enough about how to design a web page that they can do this sort of work, and they can be the advocates for the annual fund. And the Carleton College Annual Giving Director swears up and down that what makes us able to hit such a strong participation rate is because we're not always the ones doing the talking. It's the peers themselves that are encouraging each other to make gifts. And that winds up being the powerful message in our appeals.